Okay, then hello everyone. Thank you very much for putting some time aside today to join this session about Deneb, custom visual in Power BI. My name is Olga Dontsova. I'm a Power BI developer and consultant at Allgeier, Switzerland. I've been working there for a few years now, mainly with the customers to deliver Power BI, Power App solutions across a variety of industries, ranging from international schools to crane manufacturers, from pharma to business restaurant businesses. So quite a lot. And I've been exposed to quite a few requirements. Yeah, both visual and business, but visualization is where I enjoy a lot. That's my passion. So today I'd like to take you with me on a journey to unleash the potential of the custom visual called Deneb, when it comes to accommodating the non-standard requirements and requests of your customers. During the session today, I'm going to walk you through how to create a custom visualization like you can see in our presentation. This is actually a real life example of what a customer sent to me in a PPT format, asking whether I could replicate it in Power BI. And to tell you the truth, I was reluctant to use Deneb to solve this kind of a challenge because Deneb requires coding, and I'm not a coder like at all. So I was like hesitant about that, but then why not? Why can't I just take the whole requirement, the whole visualization, and break it down in a way a non-coder would, and make it easier for the others to understand how to approach such kind of challenges. So here I am, ready to share with you my knowledge how to do this without any prior knowledge of coding or the Deneb itself. Before we start actually with the practical part, let's quickly recap what Deneb is for those of you who have a little to none knowledge about this or less familiar with the Deneb. It's a certified custom visual available in App Source. Basically, it gives you full control, full flexibility of the properties that you want to encode, the properties, the elements that you would like to define. And that what makes this visual stand out among the other custom visuals, because it doesn't come in the format of a bar or a circle, right? So you can basically create anything you want and add the elements you want to the visual. Deneb allows you to develop these visualizations from the scratch using Vega programming languages, Vega Lite and Vega. And you can see here on the screen, I took some examples from Kara Kalaska portfolio. She's well known for developing Deneb templates. So basically, any kind that your creativity allows could be created with this visual. And of course, the main benefit of using Deneb is here we're trying to bridge the gap between what the standard visuals in Power BI can do and they cannot do, meaning that Deneb allows us to tailor our visuals to the specific needs of our customers, right? So how cool is that? Of course, it comes with some limitations because there is a steep learning curve to that. There are the programming languages involved, and that what makes many people steer clear of this visual. Yeah, the mere look at the documentation website for me was like, okay, I want to run away from this because I couldn't imagine myself like understanding this whole. But believe me, once you understand the structure, once you understand the logic behind that and get the hang of it, it becomes very clear and very understandable how to build these visuals. On top of that, you have a wonderful site, which you can see here. And there is a lot of documentation, examples, and tutorials that you can reference and that you can check to help you find the way, because there are a lot of visuals that have already been created for you, and you can kind of get the idea by checking those visuals. If it's something similar to what you want to build, it can give you the direction where to head. Okay, so you're not left alone in there. Before you actually start coding, you have to take some time to understand your visualization and take it apart. bit by bit. For example, like the first step would be, yeah, okay, this visual shows me two different matrices, frequency and penetration, compared across the countries, compared across the groups. That's fine. It doesn't really look very complicated. So first thing first, I want to start with the whole view, with the composition. Okay, so first we try to understand what is it. And when we look at it, we can quickly see that there are just three different visuals concatenated together. So we see the visual one, the bar chart, the grouped bar chart. We see some charts in the middle indicating the countries, and we see the second bar chart on the right, which makes us use concat as our view composition for the visual. We see the concatenated one. We can have the horizontal one, just stacking the visuals next to each other, like you can see here. We can have the vertical concatenation, stacking them on top of each other. Good. Once found the first line, like the intro, let's go down. What do we see in those visuals when we take them one by one? So in the left visual, I can see there is a bar, there is a label, like there are bars, there are labels, and there are the labels which are indicated by those arrows up and down. So three elements all together, right? So which makes it a layered chart. So when multiple elements come together in one chart on top of each other, that's a layer. So we have a layered chart here. We have a layered chart over here with the same three elements in there. And this is not a layered chart because there is only one element in there. But for now, to avoid the confusion, let's just call it that we have three kind of layers inside our visual. So if you imagine like writing an essay, there is an introduction, there are supporting paragraphs, and there are the details in those paragraphs. It's just the same way. I just imagine for myself first what I have to code, that I have to code the concat, I have to code the three layers, and then I have to find the supporting elements and the supporting marks in there. So here I just laid out for you, like it would look like that. Okay, I want to have layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 with the following marks. And here where the marks come into the play. Mark is a visual element or type of a chart you choose when creating a visualization. So when you compare it to Power BI, it's just the visualization that you use, yeah, with a line chart, bar chart. So basically here we just say, yeah, my layer 1 consists of mark, bar, mark, text, mark, text. My layer 2 consists only of mark, text. My layer 3 consists of bar, mark, text, and text. And then it would be easier for you to search for the information to fill in there. Once you've done that, you have to do the encoding of those. You have to do the mapping of the data to those visual properties and graphical marks. So basically, under each of this mark, we would like to have the encoding. And what is encoding? It's our y-axis, it's our x-axis. We do the same in Power BI, right? We choose the chart, and then we start bringing in the fields to our axes, to the legends, to the color, and stuff like that. So it's basically the same, just the names are different. So under encoding, you can define the colors, you can define the groupings, the legends, everything possible. And then like each of those marks, depending on the requirements, will get either similar or somewhat different encoding stuff. Good. So once you're clear with that, you have in your head like the steps, what to create, you can go ahead to your Power BI and start doing that. Of course, before, like when I look at my chart, I can also notice that there is a conditional formatting, yeah, that I would need to find it on the documentation website, how to do that and where to add that. But this will be the last piece that we're gonna take a look at when we're creating our charts. So once the composition is ready, let's go ahead and open our Power BIs. So let's just go here. Deneb is free, custom visual, so you can find it here in the app source. just type in Deneb and you will see it over there. Here it is. I already have it, so I'm gonna just add it to my canvas. Here I have my Deneb visual, and then I have to add some fields to that before I start writing the code. I have a table, shopper and consumer behavior with different fields. In order not to use this long field namings, I just created measures for that. I have frequency, just the average of the purchase frequency. I have frequency change. I have purchase size and purchase size change. Okay, so those are the measures. Now I start bringing them one by one: country, group, frequency, purchase size, and purchase size. Here we are. And let me just close this all. I'll navigate to my visual. Oops. Here are the three dots, edit. And you can see here, I'll just make it a little bit smaller. You can see here that there is a window, create new specification. So basically you can choose here whether you are writing your codes in Vega Lite or Vega. I'm going to stick to Vega Lite today. And here you can see the predefined charts that you can start with. It will give you some idea of how to write the syntaxes and the codes. But I always prefer to start with empty because then I just understand what I'm doing. So I'll just create. So once I clicked create, Power BI creates automatically for me these lines. You don't want to remove those lines. At least you don't want to remove data line because it refers to data set. So here you can see that there is a data set with all the measures that you have added. And here in the canvas, you're going to see the output, the result of what you are actually coding in there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and first define the coding because it's easier to start with the encoding with x-axis, y-axis, colors, etc. Okay, so I can already see here the syntaxes, how it all happens. We need the quotation marks for the element, we need the colon, we need the open braces and the closing braces. So basically I can already start, go ahead and say encoding. I'll just copy this. Once I hit enter, the closing braces will appear. And I can go ahead and say like, okay, X, what is going to be my X? Hit enter. And we start defining the fields, okay? It's called the field as well. So we're just gonna go here, say field. Which field I wanna use? I wanna use purchase. Just a second. Where are you? Purchase size. Then it's a very good practice to define the type of your field as well. Is it quantitative? Is it string, nominal? Is it ordinal, etc.? So I'm going to put type, and I'm going to go ahead and say that it's quantitative. Okay, so that's the beginning. But if you wonder, okay, how do I start this? I don't know that I have to write encoding or how to write encoding. No problem. You can always go ahead to the documentation website, and you can see there is documentation, and you can go ahead either to encoding itself, click on the encoding and see like, the word has to be in quotation marks, then the colon, then the open braces, and then all the other properties come inside of this encoding chunk. Okay, or you can just go ahead to examples. There are many examples over here. You can choose something similar. For example, this group bar chart looks somewhat similar to what we are creating. You can also go ahead and check it out. Encoding, field, Y, etc. If you're still not sure, you can also be more specific. Okay, what types of measures, what types of fields do I have? Just navigate to encoding here, find the type, and start reading like, okay, I have quantitative, temporal, ordinal, and so on. So basically the site is very nicely structured. You will see the transform part, you will see the mark part. So with all the different visualizations, the encodings, the compositions, etc. So with some time, you will find your way around that. Once we've done that, let's go ahead, not forget common, and let's say what's going to be our y-axis. It's the same. So we're going to have field. And this time is a country, right? So we have country. And you can also, once again, it's not compulsory, but it's a good practice to have the type as well. So as it becomes more complex, it doesn't get confused about what you're using in there. Nominal, and then you can see open, open, closing X, opening Y, closing Y, closing encoding, and I have to have the comma in here before the next element. Once I hit apply, by the way, you can hit apply here every time you think that you want to see the result of your coding. You could also click on auto apply changes, but it would slow down your visual. So I prefer always just to come back to the apply version. And once you hit apply, the main thing is that you don't see any error messages in here. Okay, so I don't care that I don't see anything on the canvas for now because we haven't defined our visualization. We didn't say that we want to see the bar in there. So I'm happy with that. Sometimes the errors come here on the numbers, kind of pointing to you whether error appeared. And if you missed, for example, some colon or comma, you can always use repair on format like that. That's gonna find the obvious ones, yeah, the simple ones that's gonna repair, but unfortunately it's not gonna repair any logic or anything more than that. So if you really get stuck, and yeah, I used to get stuck like all the time with this commas and with the braces, who knows, maybe today as well. So if you get stuck, the visual coder, the Visual Studio Code is going to help you a lot with that, because you can see they're much faster, the missing braces or the missing syntaxes. Okay, so now let's go ahead to the layer. Inside the layer, you remember we have mark bar, mark text, mark text. So we're gonna go ahead and say like, okay, I'm gonna put the mark bar in here. So mark, once again, colon, again, this, the second one, type. Type is gonna be bar. So I'm gonna hit OK, and you can see already the output. It's a bar chart, easy as that. But I can see some here, some delimiters. So that's to do with the aggregation. So I have to come back to my x-axis and actually say that there is an aggregate, and either it's a sum or average. So in my case, it's an average. So once I hit this, they disappear. The next step is that my requirement says that this bar chart has to look to the left, right? So I need to sort this x-axis descending. So let's go ahead and add sort. And the sorting is going to be descending, descending. Boom. Now my requirement also says that I want to do the descending for the countries as well, starting from the US. So which means I have to go to y-axis and just say like, okay, y-axis sort. And under sort, I want to have descending as well. Here we are. If I wanted to sort y-axis by ascending x-axis, then instead of descending, I could have just put x and it would sort me in ascending way for the purchase size. If I wanted descending, just -X, and then I would have had it like this. Okay, so but I want it in descending by Y axis, so I just leave it like that. I don't need any country axis and title, so let's remove this as well. It's just axis, and it's just no. We don't want that anymore. The name is also not really good, so we could go ahead to the x-axis, add here the title, and clean up from the very beginning, like those small parts. And the title, I'm going to have purchase size. Perfect. Now what I'm missing in this bar chart is this group, right? So normally we would add it to the legend and get the group, but how do I do it here? No idea. So I'm moving back to my website where I found this example that looks kind of like mine, the bar chart, and then I can go ahead and see that what are they doing here? They're doing X offset field group. Of course, in my case, the category is on the y-axis, right? So I just would need to make the y-axis y offset out of that. So let's copy paste this. Go back. X, Y. Here is supposed to be the comma. And then I'm saying that, okay, it's Y offset and the field is group. You see, straight away I get some errors, like error messages, and that's because it's sensitive to the naming. So please just make sure that you have it the way it's defined. It's actually a little bit inflexible, right? So I mean, it's case sensitive. You cannot comment out here, so the code can become very messy very quickly. So once we've done that, let's hit OK to see whether I'm still doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good, but I'm missing the colors. So let's add to our encoding the colors. Color, and then just copy paste this open braces. And this ones, and I could have actually said I want to color it by field, which is group. And yep, just group. And I would get the standard colors that are right now in the color scheme of Power BI, okay? We could see those colors as well when we checked our documentation. I could have said that, okay, don't color it by group, color it by probably value, and make it light gray or something else, who knows? So it could be like that again. But what I need is I need 3 specific colors, right, to assign to those groups. So how do I do that? I need a scale. I need a range of colors. So once again, I'm just moving to the website. I'm trying to find the encoding because the color is under encoding. I can see here that there is a scale. So the scale of colors. And then basically, if this is too much to understand, because it is for me, I'm just moving to the examples. I'm always just looking through examples if there is something that I might use in my case, like trying to see whether they're coloring somewhere what I need, like here, maybe. No, here they're coloring by field only. Here they're coloring by field only. And then finally, I find what I want. Here I can see that there is a color, field, and scale of colors. So let's take this. Hops. Just let's be careful with taking all the braces. Open, open, close, close. Let's go back to our color. And here, instead of the color, I will put this one. Okay, it's not the origin. Obviously, we have the group, and our group is nominal. Perfect. So the way the which color is assigned to which group depends on the order you place them in. Okay, I don't need these colors, so let me just copy the colors I need for my customer. So here, instead of this purple and teal, I'm going to have some other things. And if at some point you feel like it's becoming messy, just click on this repair and then you'll just get a nice formatted stuff. So I don't worry about it at the first. Good, so our bar chart is starting looking somewhat as we want, right? But what we are missing, and it is our next step, is the labels. The labels are thrown once again on X and Y axis, and they come as a mark text. So let's go ahead and create our mark text. So we are here, layer, and I'm gonna go down. This is from the layer, the closing one. So let me not fix it. So mark, let's go. So I'll just take this mark, type. Which type of a mark is a text? Let's close this with 2 closings, 2, and check it out. Okay, nothing appears still because we haven't defined, like we said, there is a placeholder for the text, but we haven't defined what this text is, which field this text is using. So this is high time when I would like to take this encoding and put it under each mark. Okay, so at the very beginning, I did it so it's more transparent and I see what I'm doing, but then it comes already to some differences between the marks. So I'm gonna just go ahead, take this whole encoding here, and I'm gonna put it under the bar, tuck, apply, everything is still good. I'm gonna go under text, tuck, apply, everything is still good, and I'm gonna just remove it from here because I don't need it anymore. I'm gonna build other layers as well, so this served its purpose for me to understand what I'm doing before I get lost in all this commas and open braces and stuff. So I just can go ahead, delete this, hit apply, and everything looks good still. So I would encourage you hitting apply like all the time you do a major change or one step, because then it's easier to see where you skipped some of the syntaxes or part of the syntaxes. And let's move on. So here's our mark text. I have X and Y, but I don't have the text defined. So let's define the text. Here, you just write text and you start up, enter, field. I want to purchase size labels, purchase size, and just want to do like this. Okay, I already see something is coming, but the colors correspond to the colors of the bar chart of the scale. I don't need that, so let me just remove the whole color part from here because I just want it to be black. So let me just remove it till here, not forgetting this one. Black. Okay, so wait a second. Maybe I've just a second, maybe too many things. Yeah, so you can see like very easily you can see the errors once you're removing something, adding something because of the braces. So you have to be particularly careful about that, but that's a part of the journey. Good, so I got my labels. They look awful right now because they are not formatted. So let's format those ones. We have to format them under this text. Yeah, so we are continuing this. I will also add, since I already said that's a good practice, the type, quantitative, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the format. It's a format type, and there is a format type called Power BI format. I know that there are other ways to create the format, but this is the one that I understand better. Then it's just the format and the usual way like we do in Power BI. I'll just copy the sign. Oops. And here we are. We can see that those labels, kind of the position of those labels is not what we would expect. So let's go to text over here. This is the text. This is the text that defines what we are showing. And this is the text type, which defines what type of visualization it is. That is a text field visualization, okay? So let's go ahead over here and say that this whole visualization has to be at X offset, I don't know, 20. Looks good, okay? That's gonna be automatic that they will be placed a little bit further than the actual purchase size, because we have the x-axis inside the encoding. We are saying like, okay, look at the x-axis, look at the y-axis, and place them over there nicely. So once we got that, we see that it looks good. Let's continue with the next text mark, which is going to be our arrows up or down, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this whole mark till here, and I'm going to do and place it inside. Okay, and then I'll just go with the offset, which is going to be 40. I'm going to move it more to the left. Okay, so this way I just see like, yeah, okay, I see this text, fine, but I need to change it from the purchase size to my arrows. There is a more complicated way to that, and I had another version where I was trying to code it straight away here. But if you're like really starting, the easiest way would be just to create the measure. Just the simple measure, if purchase size less than 0, then down, or arrow up. So I created 2 of such measures for icon frequency and for purchase. I'm going to add them here, and I'm going to add them here. Good. So now, instead of referencing purchase size for the text, I'm going to reference the icon field. And it's a nominal field, because it's a text value. And then this format type, I don't need it anymore. So let's remove it. Okay, we got our icons in there. Now the part that is left, that is remaining, is to create the colors. So let's go ahead. The colors we have to place here. But I don't know how to do that because I need to assign the colors based on the condition, right? If it's going up, then it's green. If it's down, then it's red. So what do? We go back to our website and let's try to find in the documentation the condition. So the condition, we are working right now with the encoding, right? So that's where we're gonna find the condition. And once we find the condition, this didn't ring a bell to me. Like I got lost with all of this. So it's probably for the more advanced. So again, as a newbie, I decided that it's the best way just to check and orient yourself with the help of the visuals. So once I'm going here, I'm just checking like, okay, some parameters, not really. I need kind of 2 values, if this, then that. And then I'm just going down, searching once again if any condition that looks like mine, much or less. And then bingo, here they're doing different font colors based on the color of the cell. So I could use this color condition, if something, then black, otherwise white. Okay, so let's take this. Open, close up to this, and just move it to our side over here. And now let's start understanding and working with that. Okay, so if you want to use the condition, you write the word condition, and then inside the braces, you write the word test, and then you have to have the strings, like the quotation marks, and you have some datum and obviously the name of your field, right? So that part got me a little bit confused in there, but you can always ask ChatGPT like what datum is, what parameter is. So what I did is like, okay, what is datum in vega light? So you can always choose ChatGPT also to help you out with creating those like, you know, parts of the code or giving you a hint. So datum typically refers to an individual data point or data record within the data set. So basically, when you're writing conditions, you have to use either parameter or datum, which means datum is here. So it refers to the data set. It takes individual point and says if it's less than this, if it's equal to this, fine. The next thing was to understand like how do I write the syntaxes in there, and I found out that if you have the empty spaces or you have some special characters in the name of your field, then you have to use the brackets and you have to put your field into the single quotation marks. That's all a little bit too much to me. That's why I named all of my measures without any empties, without any special characters. In this case, I can just say datum and I can reference my icon. Now my icon is not 40, it's 0, and it's not less, it's equal. Equal in Deneb, in Vega Light, you just used either double or triple equal signs. So, and here instead of black, I have the color that I want to have. So let me just copy paste that color. Here we are, and copy paste. Oops, another color. Here we are. And let's see if that's gonna work. So, okay. So, and not working, not really. So we have to take a look one more time and see what's going on, because I have null here. So let me just take my icon. I want to have this one. One more peculiarity is I was trying to put it with the quotation marks, right? Because it's a string. So it always threw me an error. But since this whole test thingy is already in the quotation marks, you see here, like before datum and here after this, then you have to put the string values in single quotation marks. So let me just copy the single quotation marks here and here. So let's go ahead, try it out. Voila. So we have already something looking nice. Let me just make this smaller. This looks exactly like your chart I wanted. Let's do a little bit of the fine tuning in here before we try to replicate it and concatenate with the other parts. So let's go ahead. First of all, if I wanna make those bars a little bit nicer. Okay, so I have to navigate to my mark type bar here, and I want to say that I want the height 12. That was a good one. Not really. So let's see if there is. Let's use a little bit less to see, like this, for example. Yeah. So we could play with the height so it looks a little bit nicer. And then I would like to go ahead and add probably a title to this whole thing. Title. And the title is going to be purchase size. And we are okay. Let me see. Wait a second. I know. See here, I just removed the quotation marks. Here we are. So I'm happy with this one. And as you remember, that our original visual looked kind of similar. It had the same stuff on the right side, just with another matrix. So it's the time when I start concatenating. And what I need to do is just to copy paste this whole thing and adjust it a little bit. So let's go ahead, see how can I concatenate? How can I do that? Actually, I found here, I found here a chart looking somewhat similar to what I'm trying to achieve. It's not quite the same, but it looks similar. So let us find that chart. Let's not be super fast. Somewhat like that, but it was, wait a second, let me go here to the examples once again. And see where that chart is. Like eventually when you're trying to find those charts, you will find something. Here, population pyramid. Looks kind of right, like what I want. So that kind of can give you the idea, which direction do I go? What do I do? So if I check that visual and the JSON specification for that, I see the concat up there. So concat, brackets, open braces. So I'll just take that one. And I'm going to put it over here above the layer. So the layer is opening with the braces, which means at the end, I have to close my layer with the braces. Here's my layer end, and I close it with the braces. And then the concat is closing with the brackets. So this one belongs to concat. Concat. So now I can fully go ahead, take the whole layer, copy, go down, put it there, and see what happens. Those two things get concatenated. It's not good yet. I still have to adjust it, but at least that's what I'm trying to achieve. So let's go ahead and try to find try to define the width of the layer. Width. Me and my minus 13. Okay, so I think this is gonna be fine. And wait a second, we're gonna put it above the layer. Let's put it above the layer. That's where it belongs. Good. So now let's put this width. Let's put this width to the other layer that we had here above the layer. And that looks good. So now let's really quickly rename things, remap things. So I need to have frequency in there. So I'll just go ahead and say frequency. And that's going to be a little bit tedious for you to watch because it's just renaming. Frequency, the field does not purchase size frequency. The title is frequency as well. Then we go down, it's a group. Here, once again, it's frequency, frequency, frequency. Okay, then let's see, field frequency. And here, so a little bit like, just, and here we are. Do we have the correct stuff? Correct. Now we need this visual to look to the right? So we have to go up once again to our layer, and we have to go to which one? To X axis. And here, instead of sort descending, we say sort ascending. When I hit on that, nothing happens. So nothing happens. Why? Because I have this X for text and for the icons. So I have to go and check this sort everywhere. So this is the X, sort ascending. And I'm going to the sort X-axis ascending. And then only I'm going to get this type of visual here. So now, of course, all of those text values are sporadically kind of taking place. So let's fix that as well. Instead of 40, it's going to be 40. Instead of minus 20, it's going to be 20. Here we are. There is one more thing that we have to adjust is, of course, this icons, right? So the icons there are referencing the purchase size. So we have to go to our mark text here, and it's icon frequency. And here we are. Let's take a look at that. Icon frequency doesn't look good for me because I have to go up, and instead of text, I can also say that it's referencing icon frequency. Okay, now it looks good. I could go back to report, just to take a look of how it's looking, if everything is like looking good. The last part, which is remaining for us, is to squeeze in somehow the text values over here, right? And then we are done. So let's go back to edit. Let's find this place where two layers are here. Two layers start. The second layer starts. So over here, I need to squeeze in my other kind of layer, but we're not going to take the word layer for that because, as I said, it's just one text type mark. So I'm just going to go take this width and maybe 20 is going to be good enough. Let's close it straight away so we don't lose it. Width. And then I'm going to say what's my mark. And the mark is going to be text type and text. Okay, mark. Let's not forget this and the second one. So always count your braces. Open, close, open, close. Now, good. We don't see any text yet. Why? Because we didn't do the encoding. Once again, I'm just reminding you that this is the placeholder, but this is not the actual text yet. So let's go ahead and do the encoding. And the encoding is going to be this. Open, close, and the encoding is text, text, open, close, close, and the field is which one? The field is the country field, right? Country. So let's see what we get. Let's check. Open, open, close. One more close is missing. Here we are. Wow, but the text is somewhat squished and smashed into something. Why is that? Because we have to throw it onto the y-axis, right? So we need to define what's the y-axis. And let's just be sneaky and let's just copy paste it from here. We have already y-axis in there. So let's go ahead, copy this, and let's get back to our encoding. This is from the text, the closing up, and here we can put our y-axis. It looks better, but still not good. Why? because we shall not forget that we have the grouping here. So we also have to get our y offset. And this way, part like one after the other, you try to figure out. Now it looks good, but it's really like not a nice thing to have all of those values repeated 3 times. So I want to have just one. What do I do? I thought about it. Maybe there was a solution, but the easiest way I thought would be to filter for the group 2 for this one. So I have the name everywhere. So how do I do this? If I come back to my pyramid, to this one, I can see that they just split it one matrix into female and male. And how do they do that? They just use transform and the field. So let's take this part, the transform. Let's go up to our mark. Let's put the transform there, and our field is a group. And our value, let's go ahead as a group 2. Here we are, and let's go out to see how the whole thing looks like. Okay, so basically that's it. I got what my customer wanted. I found that the sequence and number of steps, like I was doing, always coming back and forth, looking for something similar, trying to find the references was helping me a lot. Although I'm just at the very beginning of my journey with Deneb. This was the first visual I ever built for my customer. I'd really love to continue with that, and I'd really love to encourage you to explore it. Of course, for me, the most difficult was when I was looking at those fancy visualizations out there. It was difficult to imagine, like, how could those fit into the mundane, like, daily requirements into my reports? And that's why I still jumped on this opportunity to develop this visual, because it's not complicated, but it actually gives you the opportunity to see like how to cover the basics and how to cover the knowledge and how to go about it. So yeah, I hope that was interesting for you to see what's the workaround, what it takes to develop a custom visualizations. If you have any questions, let me know.